Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. From wherever you are watching us from, you are welcome. And you're welcome to the Women Focus Canada Zoom meeting. It is such a privilege to have you here, and we are very thankful for the gift of life. You're welcome. And my name is Funke. I am the founder and the creative director at Lasting Love International, and it is a platform that educates, enlightens on issues relating to marriages and relationships. Today, I will be moderating alongside my co-moderator, Rowena Power. Rowena, do you want to introduce yourself, please?
For sure. Hello. Let me just, I was hiding. Hi, I'm Rowena Power, and I'm delighted to be here along with Funke, who I know is going to be an amazing host. Back over to the lady.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rowena. I'm not the only one here today. I've got four beautiful speakers who will be talking to us today on the pandemic effect on marriages and relationships. And I'm just going to quickly introduce them to you. And just to start off, I would like to let you know that Women Focus Canada is a non-profit organization whose goal is to share best and promising practices that promote health and wellness for women, girls, families, and communities in Canada and beyond. Women Focus Canada has a mandate which includes addressing gender-based violence and trauma, promoting physical, mental, and psychological health and gender rights and equality for girls and women, build capacity and empower individuals to improve their lives and contribute to the socio-economic development of their communities. Women Focus Canada targets the Afro-Caribbean in Greater Toronto Area to elevate community awareness, disseminate information, provide education about the prevention, effect, and risk of COVID-19. Just, Women Focus Canada is partnering with the Canadian Red Cross Society for this project. So today I have four speakers who are going to be enlightening us about the pandemic effect. And first and foremost is the host, Dr. Mrs. Oluremi Adewale. She is the host and the founder of Women Focus Canada. She is a Canadian trained registered nurse, currently working as a mental health nurse consultant. Dr. Oluremi Adewale, you're welcome. Also, I have on the panel of speakers today, Pastor Funke Felix-Adejumo. She's the president of Funke Felix-Adejumo Foundation. You're welcome, Reverend Funke Adejumo. Also here is Mrs. Ibukun Ogunsina, a Canadian registered psychotherapist, as well as a Christian counselor. And the last but not the least is Pastor Morin Osunmakinde, fondly known as PMO. She is the president of Babes Redefined, a body set up to help women define their purpose. A big thank you to all of you speakers for coming on board. You're very welcome. The goal of this webinar today is to learn about the pandemic effect on marriages and relationships, and it is to provide helpful relationship strategies. At this junction, I will be inviting our first speaker, and I will be reading out her profile very briefly. Reverend Funke Felix-Adejumo is the president of Funke Felix-Adejumo Foundation. She is an accomplished preacher and teacher with deep insight into God's words. Her unique unction and utterance have endeared her to the hearts of the myriad of people that have listened to her at conferences and seminars around the world. She is the convener of Mothers Summit and Women on the Winning Edge Conference. She has a great passion for womanhood with a divine purpose on earth, honoring God and blessing humanity. This vision has transformed into many works such as the established Grace Orphanage, the construction of the Children's Hospital, and other great works that God is doing through her. Our foundation is dedicated to making worldwide impact with a special call to restoring dignity to womanhood and equipping women from all over the world. She has authored over 70 books with titles such as 50 Lessons Life Taught Me, My Seed is Designed for the Palace, Beauty for Ashes, Marriage is for Destiny, and many others. She is married to Bishop Felix-Adejumo Adejumo, and their most blissful home is blessed with 2 men, 2 women, 8 grandchildren, and many adopted children. She's the mother of the Agape family worldwide, and hers is a story of a woman helped by God. So ladies, let's welcome Reverend Mrs. Funke Adejumo. You're welcome, ma'am.
So very much. Thank you, Mrs. Adeyi, for that fantastic introduction. Oh, I was looking for who you were talking about. I want to thank God for this honor and this privilege to be a part of this today. And I want to thank God very, very specially for Dr. Oluremi Adewale. Well done, dear woman of God. My generation celebrates you. Well done, well done. You are truly beautiful inside and outside. And I'm honored that you have deemed it fit to invite me to be a part of this. We thank God for you, your husband, your children, your grandchildren. And I know that you will not lose your reward in Jesus' name. I want to thank all my sisters. Rowena, well done, fantastic lady. Thank you. Mrs. Ogunsina, thank you. Mrs. Osunmakinde, thank you. Thank you again, Sadeyi. It's amazing that we have a year like this. Year 2020 is a very, very peculiar and interesting year. The last time we had a year like this was 100 years ago. And the last time we're going to have a year like this will be 100 years' time. So the last time was 1919, when a year repeats itself, 1919. And then the next one will be 2121. So we have 2020. And what is peculiar is that some of the things that happened in 1919, we see here happening. Like this pandemic called COVID-19. It's amazing. It's really amazing. But every wise person learns from every experience. No experience is meant to be a waste. So COVID-19 is not an exception. Many people are asking questions why. Some are confused, some are disillusioned, some are disappointed, some are wondering what's going on here. Well, you know, because we're people of faith, the Bible says that all things work together for our good, including COVID-19. So COVID-19 has negative impact, negative effects that we all see. It's limiting. So, you know, some people have lost their loved ones and all that. But in relation to our discussion today, we want to see what we can glean, the positive things we can glean from it, and the impact it's having on our relationship, particularly our marriage or family relationship, but we can learn from it. This is the time, number one, that we should reevaluate and appraise our relationships. So COVID-19 affords us the opportunity to reevaluate or, you know, appraise the impacts of our relationship. Every relationship should add value to us. So this is the time to reappraise and look at ourselves as a couple. How am I doing? As a wife, as a husband, even as a child, how am I doing? It's a season of reappraisal, assessing. Now that we are together, now that I am here 24/7, a lot of us are working from home, which wasn't so before. So we try to look at it and then we assess ourselves. Number two is the time for adjustment. Adjustment. So you start adjusting because questions are being asked now. This is now the new normal. So you start adjusting. A lot of people didn't have time to listen to their spouses, or to listen to their children, or to even listen to themselves. This is the time when you pit stop. There is a game that is called Formula One. Formula One determines the fastest driver, but part of the rules is that you must stop. You pit stop to assess, to have your engine oil changed, to have your tires, removed and fixed. So this is the time for adjustment, where you can now listen to your spouse or listen to your children, and then you adjust. Look, you spent too much time watching TV. Oh, you spent too much time with your job. Oh, and all that. Is a time of adjustment. Number 3, it's the time for forgiveness. Many people are hurting and they keep pushing the issues under the carpet. They are hurting, sore everywhere. This is the time when you listen, you adjust, you appraise, and then you forgive. Marriage is a relationship between two forgivers. When you get married, you have only invited somebody to invade your privacy. And when you are close, proximity sometimes can lead to familiarity. And some people have been hurt. This is the time to speak out. You listen, and then this is the time to forgive. You see, when you forgive people, it's not just because of them or for their sake, it's for your sake. Because come to think of it, it is not a snake bite that kills, it is the venom. When a snake bites you on the finger and it is quickly stopped, the venom is stopped, it doesn't travel to your heart. So it's not that snake bite, it's the venom. So forgiveness is required so that venom doesn't travel. You open up, you speak up, and you express yourself. Any relationship where you are not allowed to express yourself is a cult. It is a cult. You should be free enough. That's why it's important for you to marry your friend. Marry your friend as a single person. So you express yourself and then you forgive. Also, number 4, it is a season. COVID-19 is now affording us the opportunity to reinvigorate. You pump life, you pump love, you pump attention into your marriage. There are couples that have never been together for ages. There are fathers that their children have never seen 5 hours at a stretch. This is the time to reinvigorate. This is the time to pour, to invest into your relationship. Invest love, invest time, quantity or quality. Invest words are powerful, invest money, invest goodwill, invest affection, invest, touch. For instance, a woman, it's been discovered that a woman needs 13 meaningful touches per day to live a normal average life. And these are not sexual touches. And these are not, they said we should touch you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. Meaningful touches. So COVID-19 has allowed us and given us the privilege to look at these areas of our lives and to reinvigorate. Number 5, it is the time to build with a future in mind. Now we can assess, we can reappraise, we can invest, we can reinvigorate, we can adjust, and then we can build with the future in mind. Now, what do we want to do? We've learned from our past. What do we want to do as a couple, as a family? Let's build with the future in mind. Number 6, it is the season to heal and recover. COVID-19 has afforded us the opportunity to heal and to recover. Healing is a balm to a hurting soul. It's a conduit of refreshing for a burnout. Just a touch can increase your chance of recovery. Now that you are both home, just a touch, now that you feel that touch. When a patient in the hospital, it's been discovered that if that patient has the opportunity to be touched again and again, he or she recovers fast, quickly, much more than a patient that is just left on her own. So this is the time to heal. This is the time to recover. There are couples that have been through adultery, infidelity, for instance. When infidelity takes place, the person that is affected goes through 5 stages. Number 1, you go through the stage of shock. What? What did you say? Your ears go. You know what? Number 2, you go through the stage of denial. Is a lie. We were together October 1st. No. July 3rd. How did it happen? You keep denying. Number 3, you go through the stage of grief. And you see, we've been raised to think that grief is not good. It is a good thing. When you shed tears, your healing starts. So you go through that stage. It's good for you to go through it. It's like someone that is bereaved, a widow or a widower. You grieve, but you don't let your life get stuck there. So you move to stage 4, which is healing. Healing. You need to heal. The grass is usually greener on the other side of the fence. You don't know what people are passing through too in their marriages. And the fact that they're not talking does not mean that your case is the worst. So you need to heal. And then number 5, you go through restoration. When you begin to remember, but you are no longer feeling that pain. It takes time. But you see, this affords us the opportunity. Number 7, it is a season for recovery. Beg your pardon, discovery. Discovery. Honest conversations. Look, this is how I feel about our sex life, for instance. Now that you are together, nobody is hurrying to go anywhere. You sit down and you discuss honestly. I don't reach orgasm as a woman when you make love to me. You know, you open up because this has a lot of impact on the relationship. Look, I don't like this. You are not patient with me. Look, as I age, maybe I need a balm. You know, honest discussions. I told you at the beginning, when you get married, you have only invited someone to invade the privacy of your life. So, and the Bible tells us that they were both naked and they were not ashamed. So you have to be open. You have to express yourself, explain how you feel about everything that is going on in your marriage. Number 8, it is a season for reflection. Reflection. You take inventory and then you begin to reflect. Is this how we're going to continue? What needs to be changed? What aspects of our lives need to be changed? You spend too much time with your family on the phone. You spend too much time with your friends on the phone. Reality comes on you now. Every marriage that we break will go through 7 stages. I don't have time to go through that. But no marriage breaks overnight. No. Divorce is the final stage. It goes through different stages. And many times it's because people are not communicating. So this COVID-19 has afforded all of us as couples, as family members, to open up and to reflect. Number 1, what have I been doing that I should no longer be doing? What is my spouse doing that I need to bring his or her attention to? What are my children doing? What are my parents doing? You know, we reflect. How did we get here? You ask yourself 3 questions. Where am I coming from? Where am I? Where am I going? In this relationship, where are we coming from? Where are we? And where are we going? You reflect. And of course, number 9, it's a season for compulsory rest. Now, a lot of people don't know that they are dying. Burn out. I used to say this when I preach. You are not El Shaddai, else you shall die. You cannot win the whole world. You cannot do 7 meetings per day, 7 days per week, 52 weeks of the year. God forbid, let me tell you the truth. You are just like orange. When you are squeezed, people throw you away and they look for another person, a better speaker, a better preacher, a better guide, a better coach. You need to take time to rest. Even God rested. God the Almighty, as powerful as He is, He rested. A lot of people are so busy chasing money, chasing career, chasing ministry. They do not rest. So they age. A precious man died some years ago, and when the autopsy was done, he died just before he was 60. The autopsy said that his heart was 180 years old. So he had lived 3 years his chronological age. This is the time to rest. Nobody may tell you, people enjoy you, people love you, but at least talk to yourself, talk to your husband, talk to your children, listen to them and rest. You choose, maybe it's once a week. You don't have your bath in the morning, so you are not even tempted. Some of us, even though we're not going out, we are always online, virtual meeting. You're tasking your brain. And you keep using it and using it and using it and using it. And you don't even know that you are aging. You don't need to look 67 at 37. This is the reason some marriages crash. That's not the only reason, but it's one of the reasons. People are so glued to TV, glued to the internet, glued to social media. They don't have, for instance, get to the airport. When there was no COVID, it will shock you. Everybody is busy with the phone. You won't even know that this couple, they are traveling together. These people are traveling. Everybody is doing something. Social media should not be in charge of our lives as a couple, not at all. This is the time for compulsory rest. Even factories shut down. They shut down so that the engines can be maintained, so that machines can rest. This is the time. And then this is the time to love on your spouse, to bond with your children, to love. I believe we have adults watching us. Some of you, it's just been one sex style you have been having. And I call it missionary style. This is the time to try different things. It's your marriage. Bring love on your spouse. How can you stay in the kitchen as a woman cooking 2 hours and your husband is watching football? Put a little fish in your mouth, tiptoe, tickle him and put it in his mouth. Romance has grown wings and flown out of so many relationships. You know, the older you get, the sweeter your marriage should be. Yes, and in case you don't know, your children, they are going to fly out very soon. You better spend time with them. All my kids are married now. And sometimes I just go to their section in the house and I'm saying, excuse me, when did this happen? When did they grow? That's what happens. Treasure the time. Treasure the opportunity you have. This is the time to bond. Married couple, your sex life gets better. Your communication gets better. You know, I was saying jokingly recently that some men, now that they are getting old, they are aging, they are like the generator that has parked. But you see, that's the reason you should have friendship in your marriage, so that when generator, quote unquote, parks or shuts down, there will still be other areas by which you can connect. Let's love on our spouses. We have a lot of negative impact. Let's not concentrate on that, because whatever you predominantly think about, you must attract. It's the law. It's the law. Let's love on our spouses. Let's love on our children. Boredom can lead to frustration. But as married couples, let's concentrate on the positive impact. This is not a time for nagging, for fighting, for arguments, for physical abuse, for domestic violence, not at all. A man died some time ago and his children removed all the car keys and the house keys, the room keys, and they placed the bunch on his chest in the casket and said, "Dad, you forgot your keys." What a life. This is the time to love on our children and our grandkids, to love on our spouses, to make sure that we take advantage of COVID-19 and to make our marriages better. Once again, I thank you for the privilege of sharing today. God bless you all.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Once again, thank you very much, Reverend Felix-Adejumo. To say that I was really expectant is an understatement. I was really expectant, and I'm grateful for the delivery, very grateful for the delivery. Yeah, we're moving swiftly to our next speaker. And our next speaker is Mrs. Ibukun Ogunsina, and I'll be reading her profile now. Mrs. Ibukun Ogunsina is a registered psychotherapist and also a Christian counselor. She graduated with a Master of Arts degree in Counseling Psychology, obtained a master's degree in Information Technology, and holds a Bachelor of Science degree with honors in Computer Science with Economics. Our empathetic view and warmness stem from varied experience, which includes a combination of work in psychotherapy, counseling, and information technology. Ibukun has extensive training in spiritual care, skilled in public speaking, and gets energized when she speaks about love, and has been invited to conferences as the main speaker or co-speaker in several cities and countries. She has self-published 4 books, and they are all available on Amazon.com. Ibukun's private practice is known as New Beginnings Barrie and based in Barrie, Ontario, Canada. She's passionate about helping people to regain their foothold back in life and collaboratively work with clients from a strength-based approach. She is married with children. These ladies, let's welcome Mrs. Ibukun Ogunsina.
Wow, just like Mommy Adejumo, I was looking behind, over my shoulders, wondering whose CV was being read. Thank you so much. I return all glory to God Almighty. Good afternoon from Ontario. It is a great honor to be here with you all this beautiful afternoon. And seeing that you are all locked in, we just say thank you. Thank you so much. Firstly, I want to thank Dr. Adewale for inviting me to join all these notable speakers. I do not take that lightly, sis. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. To the speakers, I'm indeed honored to be here along with you, and especially to Mommy Adejumo. I'm one of your admirers, and to be on this platform with you, Ma, it's a great honor for me. Thank you so much. PMO, my dearest sister, Fumi, Adeyi, and Rowena, thanks for being a part of this webinar. Thank you so much. Well, it's my time now, right? And my first question to all participants and everyone on this platform this afternoon is, how are you all coping? How are you all doing? Let me be frank. What is happening is unprecedented. But kindly know that you are not alone in this situation. So many plans that most of us had were cancelled. So many people are grieving the loss of so many things, such as their freedom, plans, jobs, routines, or even relatives that they lost. Here for us here in Canada, summer came and left. But some of us are still cocooned at home. You may be here and have underlying health conditions, and it seems as if you're catastrophizing the whole thing. Things may feel scary, overwhelming, and strange. Please don't despair. As a Christian counselor, I'm telling you, God has your back. Briefly, for the next few minutes, I'll be sharing on 3 topics, and I've tried to arrange them not according to their level of importance, but based on live occurrences. Sometimes things happen beyond our control. So I'll be sharing a few conflict resolution skills to start with, simply because about 55% of the couples that I counsel in my practice struggle with resolving their conflicts amicably. Then I will move on to life stressors, different activities that we struggle with. So I'll be devoting a few minutes to some self-care strategies. The last but not the least, I will focus on intimacy. 45% of couples struggle with one form of intimacy or the other, but the most common one is sexual intimacy. And that will lead me to sharing a few tips on what we can do together to make things better in the other room, in that particular area. So please sit tight and lend me your ears as I share briefly. Rowena, please put up the PowerPoint. Thank you. You can go ahead with the video.
You! Oh!
Your fault. You!
My fault?
Your fault.
Ugh.
Your fault.
You're right.
What?
It's my fault.
What do you mean your fault?
Just the two of us.
You're right, it's my fault.
We can make it if
Maybe both of us?
try.
Maybe just you.
Just the two of us. Building.
Okay, I'm going to start by defining conflict. You see, conflict is simply an argument or a misunderstanding. Yes, it's true. Conflicts can make us uncomfortable. Some of us avoid it. However, it is helpful when we decide to confront it. It's a fact that all couples have disagreements, and they fight at one time or another. Oh yeah, conflicts do happen in all relationships, and that's okay. It is very, very important to express your thoughts, feelings, and needs, even if you're unhappy. So having conflict in your relationship is never the issue. What's more important is how you resolve the conflict and make sure that it does not escalate further. Conflict in general can arise when couples have different objectives, opinions, goals, or styles. And conflict can trigger strong emotions in us. And this can lead to hurt feelings, disappointment, and discomfort. When conflicts are handled in an unhealthy manner, I've seen it. It can cause irreparable rifts, resentment, and breakups. But when conflict is resolved orderly, it increases our understanding of one another, builds trust, strengthens our relationship bonds. So, I'm going to share briefly what conflict resolution is all about. As a therapist, I meet with different people in my office, day to day, on a daily basis. They come, couples fight. Some be like, you know what, I don't want to deal with this person anymore. Funny thing, you even find couples, they've been married for donkey years, 20, 30 years, and they want to go their separate ways. Why? All because of an argument. I always encourage them. I give them a psychoeducation on what conflict resolution is all about. So, what is conflict resolution? It is a art of addressing those differences and finding common ground to live together peacefully. It is a art of identifying those negative patterns of interaction that might have been increasing conflict in the relationship and learning how to work towards changing such behavioral patterns. So, as I was saying, I was trying to define what conflict resolution is all about. So I'm going to go straight to the 5 relationship conflict resolution skills that I want you to make use of. When you start to engage in arguments or when conflicts start to rear their ugly heads in your relationship, there are 5 short skills. And then from there, I will move on to self-care. First of all, when a disagreement turns to personal insult, raised voices, or mocking tones, the conversation is no longer productive. I want you to focus on the problem and not the person. Be careful to focus on the problem without placing blame on your partner. If a disagreement becomes personal, you should pause the conversation. Please don't refer to an incident that occurred eons ago. Ask yourself, what will I gain by bringing the past into the present? You have to learn to let go and embrace the present to enjoy a beautiful future together. The second skill is learning to engage in active and reflective listening. How would you feel if you were talking to me and I brought out my phone and I started texting my friends? Your partner would not be happy. I'm guessing you will feel not listened to. So the second skill is to engage in active and reflective listening. When conflicts rear their ugly heads in your marriage or in your relationship with your partner, engage in focusing on listening to what your partner is saying. A way to be able to accomplish that is for you to actually listen so that you can summarize back to them what they have shared. Because when you summarize and say, do you know what, is this what you said? They actually feel listened to. Some people, they don't listen. They're just finish. I want to learn. I want you to learn so that I can express my own. That's not competition. It's not competition. Oftentimes, during arguments, we focus on getting our own points across rather than listening to our partner. Before responding to your partner, restate what they have said to you in your own words. When you say this, your partner will actually feel proud and like, oh, wow, so you were listening. Okay, so this is what I want. This is what I want you to do. They'll feel listened to. Rowena, you can show the PowerPoint and move to the I statements, please. The third skill is making use of the I statements. When sharing a concern, try and begin your sentence with I. For example, I feel hurt when you don't tell me you'll be late. Make use of the I statement. I feel hurt when you do this. With this sentence format, we show that we're taking responsibility for our emotions rather than blaming our partner. Nobody wants to be told this way. You always do this. You always do that. No, you don't want to put your partner in a defensive position. You let them, when you say, I feel, that means you're taking ownership of your emotions. You're letting them know that an action on their side is causing a reaction on your side. You don't say, you never tell me when you're going to be late. It's better for you to say, I feel hard when you don't tell me you'll be late. And I'm quite sure your partner will apologize. Another skill that you can make use of is knowing when to take a time out. When you and your partner are becoming argumentative, insulting or aggressive, it's a good idea for you to take a time out. Have a plan in place so you or your partner can call for a break when needed. You see, conflicts, they can be well managed when done appropriately. When you've both calmed down, you and your partner can return to solving the problem. I know of a couple, when they are in the heat of the moment, the husband will say, you know what, sweetheart, as soon as I start to rub my forehead, that signifies that I want to take a break. Let's go. Because it takes two to tango in a relationship. Let's go and reflect on what our contribution to what the incident is. So when you go away, you engage in self-reflection. You ask yourself, what did I do? What did I say? Why are we here? And then that will take us to the fifth skill. And that is being able to come back and walk towards a resolution. Don't ever walk away without coming back. Disagreement is a normal part of any relationship. If it becomes clear that you and your partner will not agree on an issue, focus on a resolution instead. Try to find a compromise that benefits both of you. Ask yourself if this disagreement matters to your relationship, and let yourself move on if not. So when you go on, when you go out, when you engage in self-reflection, when you take a time out, come back to come and work towards a resolution. Sometimes you may have to compromise. Don't let it be your way or the highway all the time. And the last skill is mediation. Mediation is when a neutral third party is involved in the resolution of a conflict. A mediator can be a therapist that specializes in couples counseling. Therapists are objective and not subjective. You know, my husband is a family physician, and he always he says, how do you people sit down and listen to stories upon stories every day? Why? I always tell him, it's a calling for us. I don't get tired. You can wake me up at 2 a.m. in the morning to come and resolve conflicts. I will jump on it. And being paid for what I do is a cherry on top of the cake for me. So look out for a mediator, somebody that will be objective, not your sister-in-law that will be biased, or even your best friend that wants to tell you what they know that you want to hear. No. And if you cannot find a good therapist, then call on a trusted individual, a mentor that will call it as it is for you. I hope I've helped in enlightening you further on resolving conflicts amicably in your relationships, even with your colleagues at work. The next few minutes will be devoted to self-care. So, Rowena, you can move to the next slide. What is self-care? I used to be so concerned when the airline attendants asked us to place a mask on ourselves first before turning to help others if the plane hits turbulence and the oxygen mask should come down. I used to believe it was a selfish idea. I realized later on that, especially as I grew up, I understood that if we do not take care of ourselves first, we may not be able to help someone else. I realized that I have to feed myself first in order for me to have the strength to feed others. It's not being selfish, it's being wise. The COVID-19 pandemic has radically changed how we live, from our work to our learning to our social lives. It has put all of us in a position where we have lost some of our ways of living. We're now trying to get used to living differently, and by so doing, we're struggling with anxiety and stress. Emotional, we're dealing with this concerning so many changes in our routines. This is the best time for us to take our health seriously. You can see the self-care wheel displayed on the screen. That is actually available to anyone. All you have to do is Google self-care wheel, and you have it on your Google. That self-care wheel is divided into 6 different areas of your life: psychological, emotional, spiritual, personal, professional, and physical. Those different activities under each segment, those are the activities that you can actually engage in to calm yourself down. Don't feel guilty when you set time aside to pamper yourself, because you can only give from what you have. You see, let me drop it like it's hot. Self-care is anything you do to be good to yourself. Self-care is taking care of yourself. It's about being kind to yourself. Ask yourself, when was the last time I set time aside to pamper myself? Studies show that regular exercise can help to reduce anxiety and build your stress tolerance. Sisters, brothers, look for opportunities to fit exercise into your day. Do you know the benefits of self-care? Maybe you don't know. Self-care improves your self-compassion. It's pretty simple. The more you take care of yourself, the better you feel. Self-care will help boost your immune system by increasing your resistance to disease. Slowing down makes you more productive. You're able to focus on things that truly matter. Self-care will give you time to engage in self-reflection and increase your self-knowledge, allowing you to be more creative in your chosen career. Seriously, when I'm well rested, actually ideas flow. I'm able to think properly. Even my husband will be like, "Oh girl, what's going on today? You're dancing." It's because I am full. And when I'm full, spiritually, mentally, I'm able to give to my clients. That will be all from me with regards to self-care. Like I said, self-care is not selfish. It's actually being wise. So this will take me to my last segment. And I do hope you have benefited from the few minutes devoted to self-care. So my last focus will now be on intimacy. Rowena, can you ask them to feel free and ask questions in the chat box now? So this is the nitty-gritty of the whole matter. What is intimacy? Having two people in love is not easy. I know. I've been married for over 2 decades, almost 3 decades. Marriage can be challenging, and at times life can be stressful. However, intimacy is what keeps the bond of your relationship together. You see, intimacy is defined as merely an intimate act. It can also be defined as the ability to genuinely share your true self with another person and relate to the experience of closeness and connection. Intimacy, when people talk about intimacy, all they focus on is sex. No, there's more to that. Actually, there are 5 types of intimacy. Rowena, please go to the next slide. We have experiential intimacy. The next one as well. Next one again. Thank you. You see, we have experiential intimacy. This is when people bond during leisure activities. People may sync up their actions in teamwork or find themselves acting in unison. This is experiential intimacy. Then we have the emotional intimacy, when people feel safe, sharing their feelings with each other, even uncomfortable ones. We have intellectual intimacy, when people feel comfortable sharing ideas and opinions, even when they disagree. Now, we have the sexual intimacy, when people engage in sensual or sexual activities. When people use the word intimacy, they are often referring to this one. And then the last one, spiritual intimacy. This is revealing your spirituality to your partner. Spiritual disclosure and listening to your partner's disclosure in a supportive and non-judgmental fashion. Spirituality is highly personal, and while it may revolve around a religious theology, it might also be centered on growth habits or meditative practices. So, for the next 5 minutes or so that I have left, I want to focus on sexual intimacy. People say they love each other. They say, couples will say, you know what, she doesn't want me to touch her. When I move closer to her, she cringes away. No, actually some people, they have the fear of intimacy. And this is referred to as intimacy avoidance or avoidance anxiety. This is characterized as a fear of sharing a close emotional or physical relationship. People who experience this fear do not usually wish to avoid intimacy. They also want to be cuddled. They also want to be loved on. They also want to be made love to. But due to one thing or the other, they push others away. Or even sabotage their relationships. You see, fear of intimacy can stem from several causes, including certain childhood experiences, such as a history of abuse or neglect, past trauma, abandonment issues, past rejections, rape, sexual abuse, or even previous letdowns in the past. Overcoming this fear and anxiety can take time, both to explore and understand the contributing issues and to practice allowing greater vulnerability. But you know one good thing? It is possible to overcome fears of intimacy. So probably you're on this platform today and you feel like, you know what, I've actually been wanting to open up to my husband. I've actually been wanting to, just enjoy, just like Mommy Adejumo said, rich orgasm. But you know what? I just find it difficult to forget what was done to me when I was growing up. There is help. Please book a session with your therapist. Open up. That's why they're there. Confidentiality clause, rules is there. Whatever you share with them will never be shared with anyone without your permission. There are tips that can help you to work on the fear of intimacy. And I'm going to briefly share 4. When you realize that there's something going on with your partner, I want you to learn to be patient with them. Getting to honestly know someone is a serious time commitment. Learn to build trust. Intimacy is not a race. Let them arrive. Let them get to the stage where they feel comfortable in your presence. And little by little, they'll begin to open up. Start with the easy stuff. If you find it easier to talk about the future than the past, start by sharing your dreams and goals with your partner. As trust builds, you may find it less frightening to talk about the more difficult topics. Also, please do feel free to talk openly about your needs. Are you someone who needs a lot of time alone to recharge? How often do you like to have sex? You can prevent a lot of misunderstandings if you tell your partner plainly what you want instead of assuming your desires are obvious. I know a couple, they're like, you know what, I want the light on. The husband is like, no, I don't want the light on. I don't want to see anybody. I just want to make love to my wife. Do you know what? They both agreed. They eventually got on the same page by choosing the right color of the bulb. So they decided on going with color blue. So blue signifies, oh no, it's like, oh, the light is on. Oh, it's not on so much as you know, it's okay, it's dim. So that gives them joy. Blue light in their room, wow, that solved their problem. But if they don't talk, if they do not open the doors for communication, they will one will be withholding, while the other one is frustrated. Now, the last one is respecting each other's differences. Even the most intimate partners still have their own identities. You and your partner do not need to agree on everything to love each other. Sometimes some people will say, you know what, I want sex every day. Another person will say, no, I want it twice a week. Compromise. Can we go 2.5? Just you hug me in the morning, that's the 0.5, and then we do it on Tuesday and Thursday. There's no big deal. It's our sex life. So those are the things that can help to actually, if possible, eliminate the fear of intimacy. But the most important thing is for you to seek out the assistance of a therapist. Now, let's get to the nitty-gritty of it. And this is the last part. We all respond differently to stress and uncertainty. While some may use sex and intimacy as a way to connect and relieve stress, others may notice a reduction in their libido and find that intimacy is a last thing on their minds. Both of these responses are entirely normal. There's no big deal. You know, you must have an open and honest discussion with your partner about your interest and comfort level before engaging in any intimate activity. And because we are all at home, there's even this fear of the second wave starting. We're all working together with the kids at home. So of course, romance is out of the window. However, you can still have fun. The first thing is keep the work day limited. For couples working at home, set boundaries. Learn to set boundaries between work hours and time spent together. The anxiety caused by the pandemic may tempt some people to lose themselves in work. Oh, I'm guilty of that. Before pandemic, I used to cancel 6-7 clients a day. Now that I'm working from home, 9-10 clients, I'm still starting. I know, and I'm working on that because I want to practice what I preach. So try and set boundaries. Well, if you're supposed to work from home from 8 to 4 p.m., what are you still doing working at 5 p.m., 4:30 p.m.? Leave it, change your location, leave your study. If possible, go rinse off your face, or maybe just do like a cleansing ritual just to signify the end of the day. For me, whenever I finish working, I go down on my knees and I say, thank you, Lord. Whatever works for you, just to signify that now it's time for family time. Set boundaries. The second point is go outside together with your loved ones. Exercising outdoors together can be a powerful way to reduce stress and strengthen positive connections between the two of you. For couples that are used to spending time in the gym, I think gyms are now opened now. Fit it in. Do it together. Go for brief walks around your area. Don't wait until things are out of control. Now, let's be frank. Don't count on fantastic sex during pandemic. Staying at home to help contain a dangerous viral pandemic is not exactly a romantic vacation. People are easily distracted. The kids are home. There's thing to be done. So just enjoy whatever you can offer each other right now. Because when you start to bother yourself and say, it's not like the way it used to be. This is pandemic. If you were used to making love every day, if it's now 3 times a week, don't kill yourself. Even if it's twice a week, do it lovingly. Don't count on fantastic sex now. Things can get back to normal once everything is okay. Plan something fun. Though couples' pre-pandemic plans may be cancelled or postponed right now, you can take a drive together. Like I told you, what's the color of the bulb in your bedroom? Do you have your duvet made of wool? Change it to something silky. Now, even when you get on that bed, you feel silky. You feel in the mood. I tell my couples, even when you're at home and you don't have all this scented romantic oil, go into the kitchen, get a nice virgin olive oil, use it and then shower after. It will work well. You only need it to massage yourself. Massage each other with virgin olive oil and then you can go to the chemist and buy the real thing the next day. Plan something fun. Put on all these, all those 80s music. Let it play in the background so that the kids will not actually know what's going on. In Canada, we don't lock our doors. Get something, put a lock on your door so that the kids do not come in and disturb you. And it's really not a must for you to make love at night. You can do a quickie during lunchtime. You're married to your husband, you're married to your wife. Enjoy each other. Use the time to make things better. Couples who were in a good place before COVID-19, they will have an easier time understanding the stress of the pandemic. But what happened to those couples that they were not really in a good place before pandemic started? So during this unprecedented time, couples can find opportunities to communicate and connect, working through feelings, even those around very painful situations such as infidelity. This may be the best time to reflect on how things can be improved in your marriage. This is the best time for you to be able to go to a place of forgiveness. This is the best time for you to be able to say, you know what, sweetheart, let's start all over again. Well, that will be all from me today. I hope I've been able to obtain some tips from all that I've shared. I hope you have been able to obtain some tips from all that I've shared. And I'm indeed grateful to have shared all the information. Please note that we all have just one life to live. Let us live abundantly, with much love flowing between you and your loved ones. Enjoy this life and take care of yourself. Thank you.
So, wow, thank you so much. You've just shared so much wonderful information and ideas and knowledge. And it's amazing being in the presence of such incredibly wise women. I'm feeling very blessed right now. And I don't want to stop you, but we have even more amazing people to hear from. So it's time to move on to the next wonderful woman who's going to be presenting this evening. This is Pastor Mrs. Morin Osunmakinde, who is fondly known as PMO. Let me just I'm going to share her image with you. She is wearing the most fantastic glasses today. I love them. She is an incredibly stylish woman. She's an inspiring and resourceful woman who is motivated by the Spirit and the Word of God, and to effectively and strategically influence both men and women of every order to understand and acknowledge and appreciate their God in their given assignment. So she's currently serving as the president of Babes Redefined, which is a body set up to help women define their purpose. And she's been able to do this through the ministry of the word, prayer, and practical and ethical approaches and solutions to life's challenges. And she's reached over, and I'm just like, this is such a huge number. She's reached over 85,000 women. That is such an amazing achievement. She is also a certified customer service facilitator and coach, and an entrepreneur and CEO of Epi Proactive Company and Jasmine Company. She's a convener of the Leading Woman Conference, which is a conference aimed towards equipping women with the tools required to make them all that God has created them to be. And she's also a lead consultant in To Be Defined. So, wow. I'm expecting to learn a lot this evening. And so I am going to hand over the mic. And then once I've handed over the mic, let me know when you want me to share your presentation.
Thank you so much, Rowena. Good evening from this part of the world. I'm in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, to be precise. And it is my pleasure to be here today. Thank you so much, Dr. Adewale, for having me. Thank you, Mrs. Ogunsina, for trusting in me. I feel so humbled, like I'm the youngest here, I know. So I'm like, listening to everyone, I'm like, okay, thank God I was saved for the last. But I really feel so honored, and I really want to thank everyone. Thank you, Mrs. Adeyi, also, for being such an amazing, will I call it MC or coordinator right now? Thank you so much. Thank you to the entire team of the Women Focus Canada. I do not take this lightly, and I'm trusting God to help me, just do what I need to do today, and just layer on what my seniors have said. I celebrate Mommy Adejumo in her absence. She's such an amazing woman. Thank you so much, Ma, for being a blessing to us. And thank you, Mrs. Ogunsina, for that wonderful session. I mean, wonderful session. I couldn't help but notice that Rowena had to take, a glass of water at some point when you were talking about, sexual intimacy. And in my mind, I'm like, it must have really hit home hard, and it must have been so deep, like, I need to take a glass of water, and all of that. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'll go straight in. I have about 30 minutes, maybe like short 20 minutes, 2 minutes now. And before the slides, I want to say something. So I'm married and have 3 children. My eldest is 14. She clocked 14 in March. And she's such an amazing personality. Why did I say so? She plans her birthday years ahead. So she's already planning her 16th birthday. She's already planning her 18th birthday.
Wow.
And I'm looking at her and I'm like, calm down, slow down. Adulthood is overrated, my darling. This idea that I need to have my own car, I need to have my own house. I said it's because you're not paying the bills right now, my darling. When you start paying the bills, you want to run back to become a child all over again. Some of us would want to do anything to be single. For some people, like, let me just have like extra 5 years to just be single. I'm going to be talking to the singles, and I'm really passionate about them because I feel like I'm more of a believer of prevention than trying to cure. So if we can, manage certain things, if we can get it right, being single, then I believe that we'll be able to avoid the so many statistics that we see, with respect to marriages today. I host a show on Babes Redefined on Facebook called Conversations with Pimo, and we've had to talk about so many things with marriage, relationship. I have people inbox me. I have people I talk to. I'm also a pastor, and I get to counsel, speak with people. And I just tell myself at times that there are certain things that we could avoid, certain things that we could not allow happen if we manage these things, get it right, know certain things while we were single. There's so many things. We're so blessed. This generation is so blessed with the technology that we have access to. I mean, with social media. In my own time, when I was university, we didn't have social media. I was in University of Ibadan in Nigeria. We didn't have social media. I didn't even have a phone in university. But here we are today. A lot of people have access to social media. They have access to resources. They have access. Look at us just listening to Mommy Funke Adejumo, just like that. And, you know, it just don't cost you a few, you know, data. And listening to Mrs. Ogunsina share such brilliant, you know, information. And it's just about you looking at your screen. And I'm asking myself, are we taking advantage of this information? Are we taking advantage of this resource? Or we are using social media to backbite, we're using social media to gossip, you know, we're using social media to look at the other person and, you know, analyze her Gucci bag and analyze her Gucci shoes and analyze, you know, her makeup, and that's all we're doing. And so I just want to talk to singles today. And I want to let you know that if you're a single person listening to me, this is the best season of your life. Honestly, this is one of your best seasons of your life. Yes, the Bible says, I'm a Christian, I'm a pastor. So permit me if I put in the Bible says once in a while, that two definitely is better than one. So yes, marriage has its blessing. But I tell you, your singlehood period has an agenda in your life. It is meant to do something for you and in you. And so this idea of hurriedly wanting to get married, hurriedly wanting to have the ring on the finger, and hurriedly wanting to be a Mrs. for the wrong reasons, especially in this part of my world in Nigeria, where a child at 21, the mother is already saying, when are you going to get married? When are you bringing the guy home? And so there's a lot of pressure on women, on ladies, on girls to just get married. And at the end of the day, like my husband says, they just get married to something, not someone, to something. And then we now begin to have the issues we have in marriages because the period they are meant to use to crystallize certain things about themselves, they don't. You know, people feel like when I get married, it's just going to change. You know, they think marriage is like one magic box, one magic tool, that once I just click on it, all my life issues will just transform and change. So here you have a lady who is yet to understand what self-love is. And she feels, let me just marry. When I get married, it will all go. No, it will follow you into that marriage. It will follow you. It will be there glaring, staring you at the face in that marriage. And you would wonder, you would feel like, you know, loneliness is not about not having people. It's a state of the heart and the mind. And I dare say this for those that are Christians listening to me, Adam was not lonely. He wasn't lonely. He was alone, but he wasn't lonely. And so this pandemic season, I found out that a lot of people realized that they were lonely. A lot of single ladies realized that they were lonely. And I dare say that a lot of even married people, even though they are married, realized that they were still lonely, even in that marriage. It is so sad that you are married and you are still feeling lonely. Now, can we quickly go to the slide? I know I don't have so much time. I'm a preacher, I can hear for 2 hours, but I'm just going to stay within the bandwidth I've been given. So can we just go to the slide? The first image there, that's the second slide, please. It says, the second image, please, the second slide, maximizing singlehood. And I really love the picture that is there. Now, it says, break free from your mold. Maximizing singlehood. What I'm trying to do today is to try and break that mindset that we have put ourselves in, that mold as singles, that singlehood is a disease, that being single is a curse from God. No, it is not. See that image you're looking at on your screen. If you break out of that mold, then you are free. You're not meant to be confined to a particular mold that the systems of this world have defined. And they say that when you are 25 and you are not married, then there's something wrong with you. From where I come from in my local class, they will say the villagers are working against you. They will say your village people, you know, permit me, for those that are Nigerians listening to me, you understand what I'm saying. They will say your village people are working against you. When you are 30 and you are not in a relationship, or possibly you're not married yet, all the aunties and the big mummies around you will have a prayer meeting over your head. And they will say that there's something wrong with you. Can we break away from that mold? because of this mindset, a lot of young women have not been able to maximize singlehood. So there's been that, this is the pattern. They're giving birth to, they go to secondary school, they go to high school, they go to university, and then the next thing for a lady that they are thinking about is marriage. They're not even thinking about working and, doing something, finding out God's agenda or plan for their life. It's all about, I must get the ring. It's all about, I must become a Mrs. It's all about, I must get that guy that will meet my need, that will provide for me, that will take care of me and pay all my bills. But I believe that every individual, a man or a woman, has a unique assignment, marriage or no marriage, that God expects that you fulfill while you are here on this earth. Next slide, please. And so the first thing I'm going to be talking on is maximizing single. And then I said here, I'm just going to be sharing a few quotes, and I'll just, the quotes themselves, speak for themselves. But just follow me. This first quote says, being single isn't lack of options, but a choice sometimes, honestly, a choice to refuse to let your relationship status define your life, but to live every day happily and let your ever after work itself out. Did you guys know, for those that are Christians listening to me, that Adam was busy working and doing what God had asked him to do? He wasn't the one that went to God and said, God, it's time, well, let me have a wife now. God was the one that said, it's about time. And the purpose was, you need someone to help you. So honestly, if you're a woman and you're not bringing value, or you're a woman and you haven't discovered or found yourself as a single person, then you want to join yourself to somebody else who doesn't even have direction or knows where he's heading, then that is catastrophic. You are both heading for a ditch. I mean, you're both, that is why marriages are suffering today. I read when I was doing a research that one of the greatest causes of divorce in Nigeria is lack of preparation during courtship or before marriage. Lack of preparation. So it's not lack of options, but it is you having a choice. And I want to say this to single ladies listening to me. Until you find out who you are, until you understand your purpose, I tell you, you cannot make a right choice, because your choices will be influenced by societal influence. It will be influenced by your parental decisions. It will be influenced by peer pressure. So your choices would not come based on something you've discovered yourself. Understanding who you are, where you're heading. Imagine I'm a lady and I know that my direction, where I'm heading, is US, United States of America. And then I meet a guy that is heading for Canada. I can tell you that we both are not going in the same direction. We're going to have a clash at some point in time. But imagine I don't know where I'm heading, and I just join myself to this guy. Oh, because he's going to Canada, let's go to Canada together. Meanwhile, my purpose and my destiny is in USA. It's going to be a problem for us in the future. And so a lot of times what a lot of young ladies do is that they just try and sweep everything under the carpet. Let's just enjoy the moment. I don't want to be single. Why don't you want to be single? You don't want to be single. What is the reason? What are you doing at this time? What are you enjoying about life? A lot of people are just going through from one prayer house to the next prayer house, taking pictures of guys they've met. A guy walks up to you, says hi. The next thing you're saying is, hello, hi, my genotype is AA, my blood group is O. In one meeting, you downloaded everything about yourself because you are so desperate. Next slide, please. I'm going to talk also about evils of assumption, and I'm going to get there. He says it takes a strong person to remain single in a world that is accustomed to settling with anything just to say that they have something. This is so deep. This quote here is so deep. It takes a strong person, especially, I'm saying again, in this part of the world where I live. There's a lot of pressure. You go on social media, someone is posting the picture of this, oh, I just got engaged. Even if, there was a particular celebrity here in Nigeria that I heard used to buy herself gifts every of her birthday every year. And she would come on social media, oh, my boyfriend just bought me this, my boyfriend bought me this bag, my boyfriend bought me this. And then everybody's like, wow, whoa, ooh, wow. Hey, when is God going to do my own? Oh, I want a boyfriend like this. It was when they broke up. In fact, it ended in marriage. It was when they broke up and went their separate ways that people realized that she came out herself and said she used to buy those things for herself. Now, can you just imagine that? Meanwhile, some people have started doing hashtag marriage goals, hashtag love goals, hashtag relationship goals on something that is not real. And so you can't base your life. You need to be strong in spirit. You need to be strong with regards to your purpose. You need to be strong with who you are. Understanding who you are is pivotal to how successful your marriage will be. Marriage is not something. It's not another something that you just badge and say, okay, yes, I'm married, done, ticket. No, marriage is meant to align with your own purpose and bring you into the fulfillment of what God wants to do in your life. Next slide, please. Next slide. Contentment in singleness is a journey, it's not a destination. I love that. Contentment in singleness. Some people feel, oh, it's a destination. Once I'm content in singleness, no. There's something I say, and I want to say this here. It's my belief, and I hold on to it so strongly. And what is it? There is a measure of singleness even in marriage. There is a measure of singleness in marriage. A lot of people are choking themselves in marriages, and that's what they found out during this pandemic. A lot of people are choking themselves. Oh, we have to do this together. We have to eat together. You know, it's so amazing. I love to be practical. My husband and I were not the same at all. We are not the same. And the truth is that we don't eat at the same time. We don't wake up at the same time. So imagine if I grew up in a home where my father and my mother used to eat from the same plate, or we used to have dinner together. You can imagine that that's going to be a problem in marriage. No, not at all. There's a measure of singleness in marriage, and you can only have that when you already know who you are. If you didn't know who you are before you got married, you continue to attach yourself, tie yourself to somebody else. It's what the person says that defines who you are, that tells you where you can go, but when you know who you are, and I think that is an attraction for even men who know where they're going. A woman that knows who she is, where she's going. Now, I'm not saying someone who is prideful, and I'm not saying someone who feels like, you know, she's just all together by herself. No, we need men in our lives. I'm not saying that we don't, even as a single person, but I'm saying that it has to be 100-100, not 50-50 or 50-100. You're bringing the whole of yourself, as in your totality into that marriage, and he's bringing his totality. 1 + 1 will make 1. That is a mathematics that God will explain to us when we get to heaven. But 1 + 1 will make 1. Singleness is not a journey. It's a journey, sorry. It's not a destination. You keep going. You keep going. There's a measure of singleness. There's a time in marriage when you just want to be by yourself. There's a time in marriage, we're still going to get there when I talk about self-love. And you know, Mrs. Ogunsina touched on that. And while she was talking, I was like, wow. You know, she was just saying a few things that I was still planning to say. It's not a destination. It's a journey. You enjoy. There are times in marriage, you take yourself out. You go out with your girlfriends. If you're not doing that now, you know, there are some ladies that cannot be single. Once they date a guy 6 months, the guy leaves them, they're already in another relationship. That is not healthy. You don't even know yourself. You are defined by every relationship. So today you're in relationship with Henry, and whatever Henry does defines you. And then 6 months later, he dumps you. And then you are going around, the next guy comes, his name is, what's his name now? His name is Rex. No, sorry, his name is what now? His name is Wale, or his name is whatever. And then he comes your way, and then you're like, okay, so whatever Wale says and defines, oh, I don't like makeup, I don't like well, you carrying weaves on your hair. And so you turn your life, you know, you channel your life to suit Wale. And so you find that a part of you is like Henry, a part of you is like Wale, a part of you is like Donald, a part of you. And so we don't even know who you are. You're totally lost because so many other people have defined who you are. Find out who you are. Take a time out. Understand who you are. understand that you are a person worthy enough to be loved, worthy enough to be what's this word? To be loved, to be managed well. Love yourself. Next slide, please. It's not a destination, it's a journey. So you're going to experience that all through at different phases of your life. When your children get married, Mommy Adejumo was saying it about her children, that they're all married now, and then she looks like, wow, when they get married, what happens? Some people use children to cover up in marriage. Those children will grow up, they will get married, and so what happens? So you need to understand what it means to be single and understand it, embrace it, and love it. Sometimes you have to forget what you feel and remember what you deserve. Too many women, too many young ladies are defined by how they feel. They are very sensual. It's about how they feel, their emotions. And so they don't even realize or understand what they deserve. They allow their feelings to becloud their judgment. There was a particular chart I shared on Babes Redefined when I was talking about evils of assumption. And it was a chart between a guy and a lady. Now, they had been the girl thought they were in a relationship for 6 months. Meanwhile, the guy didn't see her as his girlfriend because he told her from the beginning that I just got out of a relationship. I'm not ready for another one. But she felt, let me do the cleaning, let me do the cooking, let me do the service in bed, and I would automatically graduate to be, no, that is so not it. And at the end of the day, the guy told her, I never asked you to do those things. It was so, and then she started raining curses. And he's like, no, don't do that. And me reading the chat, I'm like, no, you crossed the line. He never called you his girlfriend. Why assume? It's because we allow our feelings get in the way. We don't even realize what we deserve. How can you know what you deserve when you don't even know who you are? When you don't even know how much you're worth? When you don't even know what you carry in the inside of you, how much value you possess? Until you get to that point, I'm sorry to say, but you're going to keep being tossed to and fro. You're going to keep being hit here and there, and you will keep being led and moved and pushed by your feelings and your emotions. Next slide, please. I think I need to run. Next slide, please. Now, this is deep, and if you can see, I wrote there, drops mic, because this just sums up a lot of things. Sex won't make someone commit. Physical attraction won't make someone commit. A baby won't make someone commit. Being perfect won't make someone commit. The only thing that would make someone commit is someone that is ready to commit. Never forget that. I'm telling you. So thinking that, because, in the sex crazy world, and people just feel, okay, maybe if I give him more sex, you will commit to me. No, that is bringing yourself so low. Thinking that, okay, if I put on more makeup, if I, look more attractive, if I probably reveal myself a bit more, maybe that is, no. Okay, maybe if I get pregnant, I will hook him down. No. Okay, let me be the perfect, let me begin to play the role of a perfect wife. Come, clean, cook, take care of his laundry. No. If a guy wants to commit, he will commit. You don't need to do all these things to make him commit. Men know what they want when they see it. But when he keeps dancing around and he's not totally, clear about his intentions, then you need to take a word. And for you to take a word, you need to understand what you're worth. And singlehood provides you that, understanding what you're worth. Next slide, please. Self-love. I love this picture. Oh, I love this picture. And, like I said, Mrs. Ogunsina talked a bit about this, so I'm not going to dwell so much on this. But self-love, next slide. I love this picture. Look at yourself in the mirror. Who do you see? Who do you see? This is my picture, and I deliberately used it. To fall in love with yourself is the first secret to happiness. Fall in love with yourself. A lot of us don't love what we see in the mirror. We look at the mirror and it's something else. You are looking at how your eyebrow is not perfectly done. I'm talking to ladies, I hope you're hearing me. You're looking at the mirror and you're wondering, why is my hair like this? Why was I like this? Some people even blame their parents. And they say, why did the two of you ugly parents get married to give birth to me like this? Some people just believe that they are ugly. I don't believe there's anybody that is ugly. Self-love. And you know what kills self-love? Comparison. We compare ourselves with the next person, forgetting that we are all different people and we are all, We're all on our different lanes, going on a different journey in life. So it is totally wrong of anyone to compare herself with the next person because your experiences are different. Your realities are different. It is so wrong. And I've said it before, social media cannot be your standard. You can't go on social media and then you begin to covet what somebody else has. Some people look at some women of God who have gone ahead like Mommy Adejumo, and you look at her, you look at her glasses, you look at her dressing, you look at, and you're like, if you come for some of our physical meetings, you see the car she comes in, and you begin to name and claim, and you're wondering, do you know her experience? Do you know where she's coming from? If she tells you her story of days when she didn't have, would you be able to go there? But we found ourselves in a generation, microwave generation. We just want it quick. Let me just have it. We don't want to go through process. Self-love, love where you are, love your process, love where you're going, celebrate yourself, wake up every morning and tell yourself, I'm the best thing to happen after sliced bread. I mean, look at yourself in the mirror. If you need to adjust anything, then do so. If you look at something and you like it, and you admire it, take what you can take from it and try it on yourself. If you need to work on how you talk, then go, but do not pull yourself down. Everyone is work in progress. Everyone is work in progress. We are all going through process. Love yourself. You owe yourself that much. Next slide, please. Fall in love with yourself is the first secret to happiness. Because sometimes we want to give love that we don't have. How do you want to love somebody else when you're yet to even really, truly love yourself? There isn't a single person, now permit this English, on the earth who is entitled to treat you, permit me, like shit. Not even you. And you can read that again. Not one person is permitted because we are all uniquely created. Our thumbprints are not the same. That is to show to us how unique we are. We're uniquely created. There's something you have that I don't have. No matter how special I am, no matter how special you are, no matter how special the next person is, there's something you have that they don't have. Because I've said it, our experiences are not the same. So there's no one single person permitted to treat you, not even you yourself, like dirt, to treat you like you don't worth it. No, you're worth it 1,000 times. And until you believe it, it will be hard for you to receive it because you're going to keep waiting on people's validation. And when it doesn't come, you're going to pull yourself down. So believe in yourself, love yourself, trust yourself, look in the mirror, celebrate yourself, tell yourself you are beautiful, and let yourself know that you are going somewhere to happen. Even though you're on the journey, just may I usually say something. I'm not where I used to be. I might not be where I'm going to, but I'm okay where I am, and I am on my way. Next slide, please. Oh, wow, I need to run. Rule number 1, never be number 2. I want to say this to single ladies. This idea of settling for less, this idea of telling yourself, well, it's me he calls often, come off it. How can you say that? Never be number 2. Never, ever settle for less. Don't feel because, we find these things a lot. You know that the guy has another girl, but you're trying to console yourself and you're telling yourself, well, it's me he calls often. It's me he calls, he tells me I'm his babe. It's me he comes to spend the weekend with. No, never be number 2. Never be. God did not create us that way. He said, there's for every man, there's a woman. Any man that treats you that way is not worthy enough to be with, does not deserve you. I'm just saying, see, you can call it motivational speaking, whatever it is, but I'm trying to drill in something into your heart, into your mind, into your head, that you are special. And until you begin to treat yourself so, don't expect that somebody else will treat you that way. And so when they treat you like dirt, you will think you deserve it. No, you don't. Never be a number 2. Never. Rule number 1, never be a number 2. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. You carry so much love in your heart. Give some to yourself. Love your story. Love your journey. Love your process. Take yourself out, girlfriend. Take yourself out. I mean, go to the nearest, the most recent restaurant that just opened, and just treat yourself. Go for a massage. Call your girlfriend. Hang out. Spend the entire Saturday lounging. Watch Netflix. I mean, love yourself. Give yourself a treat. Don't wait for a guy to do that for you. Always do that for yourself, with or without a guy. Go on trips. You know, I found ladies say some things that, oh, I want to get married and then I'll begin to travel. And I'm like, do all that. Oh God, I wish I did a lot more traveling before I got married. You know why? Because the moment I got married, I went into giving birth. I had 3 children in 5 years. My life was on hold. It was like on a standstill. And then after giving birth, and give birth to them in quick successions like that, you had to nurse them for another 5 years before they now become it. It's now I'm enjoying life. So I got married at 25. So sometimes it's even an act of mercy on God's part that you still have time on your hands. Love yourself. Go on that journey. Close that deal. Whoever said that a guy would not marry a lady because she has a house and because she has a car? Any guy that feels belittled, that tries to belittle you or feels belittled because of that, then he's not worthy of you. You don't need to dull your shine because somebody feels insecure. Not at all. It's the Lord's blessing. Enjoy it and celebrate it. Next slide, please. Next slide. Wow, I hope I haven't exceeded my time. Next slide, please. I need to run. Okay, so say this to yourself. I'm beautiful, I'm kind, I'm smart, I'm lovely, I'm gorgeous, I'm amazing, I'm phenomenal, I'm worth it, I'm unique, and I'm strong. Say that to yourself. Next slide. I need to run now. I need to really run now. Next slide, please. Thank you, Rowena. I appreciate you. Marriage goals. Now, that is my picture and my dude husband. Well, but honestly, if you know us together so well, then you will know that the next slide will explain what I want to say. Next slide. Marriage goals. Next slide, please. The goal of marriage is not to think alike, but to think together. Marriage is not about sameness. Oneness is not sameness. I'm just going to be picking 1 or 2 things for those that are going to get married. Some people feel marriage is about sameness. Wear the same attire. You wear pink, I wear pink. Finish my sentence for me. Hollywood movies have deceived us. Marriage is not about thinking alike. It is to think together. It is to come. Sometimes you compromise. So it is not about doing the same thing and agreeing on the same thing all the time. Sometimes you will shift ground. Not like you totally agree with what the person, with what your spouse is saying, but okay, so that we can move forward in this marriage. All right, I'm going to bend my rules. My husband and I, those who know us, we are not the same. We don't like the same things. My husband can be in the house for a whole month and he's fine. I would enter depression if you lock me in the house for 1 month. I like to go out. He doesn't. But we've been able to find an agreement. We go out in 2 cars. For wedding in Nigeria, I love the reception. He loves the wedding ceremony. For me, it's boring. Let's skip all of that and head to the reception, where we'll boogie down and we have a nice time. We eat the meal, and I just love fun, love hanging out. He's so much of, let me be in my house, let me study, let me do my research, and I'm cool with that. But we get our times together. The goal of marriage is not to think alike. It's not to do the same things. It is to think together, to come to an agreement and sometimes compromise. Next slide, please. So oneness is not sameness. Oneness is not sameness, please. That you like blue, he must like blue. No. That you like to eat by 12 noon, he must eat by 12 noon. No. And I think when we allow ourselves to be in marriage is one of the blessedness of marriage, because then you are able to bring about a lot of color into marriage. So it's not like you are all, just thinking in one same direction. There's a lot of diversity even in marriage. Marriage is like home maintenance. When the smoke detector starts beeping, you fix it, you don't buy a new house. And I need to say this to singles. having this mindset and thinking that when I get in and it's too hot, I get out. No, you need to fix that before you get into marriage. Don't have this mindset of divorce is an option. Have the mindset that divorce is not an option. That will guide your choice. So don't see it as, oh, there's fire. Oh yeah, let's just change the house. Let's burn down the house. No, your mindset should be, let's try and fix it. So don't go into marriage thinking that, well, if after 1 year, if it doesn't work, well, everybody pack your load, let's just go. No, you don't go into marriage with that mindset. Next slide, please. Next slide. I need to run. I think I've taken too much time now. Respect and loyalty are not upgrades in a relationship. They are requirements. So it's not about, oh, okay, when you get into marriage, you now respect is an upgrade. No, it's a requirement to respect each other and to be loyal to each other. Respect should be reciprocated. Even your children should be respected. So it's not a master-servant relationship. It's not my husband is Lord and master. No. My husband is not my crown. My friend says that, Adetutu Oshofora, Pastor Tutu. She says the Bible didn't say so. The word of God says, I am the crown of my husband. So, we just need to define these things. Respect and loyalty, they're not upgrades. It's a requirement. For your marriage to work, you need to respect one another. You need to be loyal and truthful to one another. Next slide, please. We're talking about marriage goals. Next slide, and I think I'm rounding up soon. A good marriage requires time. Sorry, the next slide before that. A good marriage requires time, it requires effort. You have to work at it, you have to cultivate it, you have to forgive and forget, you have to be absolutely loyal to one another. Next slide. No marriage happens by chance. Pray all you want to pray, you have to also work. I don't care how many bishops laid hands on you on your wedding day. There is work to be done. You have to do your part. Your husband has to do his part. So it's not magical. It's not it's not wishful thinking. You don't think because, oh, you received this man by God, or maybe someone said this is the will of God for you, and you just believe automatically the marriage would work. No, you have to work. There is a measure of work to be done for it to work. Marriage is not sustained by feelings. Oh, I need to shout this on the rooftop. It survives through love, the type that never fails. Marriage is not sustained by feelings. You don't see all the people on the speakers are married people. They can tell you it's not every time you feel loved. It's not every time you have goosebumps. It's not every time you have butterflies in your tummy. Love is practical. Love is a verb. It's an action word. It's a doing word. It can only survive through love, not feeling. Because love is what will take you through those moments when you annoy each other. Those moments when you wake up and you're wondering, how did you get beside me? How did I even marry you? It is love. And the kind of love is the love that God gives. That is the only love that is guaranteed not to fail. Not even your own feeling of love. It is the love that is from above. That is the love that never fails. Next slide. And I think that is the last slide, if I'm all right. Okay, awesome. I'm sorry if I took more than the time, given to me. I really apologize for that. But in summary, like I said, appreciate love. If you're single at this point in your life, celebrate yourself, love yourself on your journey to becoming married. But then in that period, understand what marriage is. Don't hurriedly go into it. Don't rush and get into it. Don't think that because Mommy Adejumo will lay hands on you, then automatically your marriage will work. And don't say, oh, because it is your pastor that chose this brother for you, or because the brother is a music director in church, or because the brother is the protocol officer to the pastor. No. Understand what marriage is, understand who you are, and understand what is expected with respect to marriage before you get into it, so that you don't rush in and then you want to rush out. Thank you so much for the time given. I appreciate you all. God bless you. Thank you so much. I'm sorry once again if I took more than the time given to me. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you very much, PMO. I'm not sure that I've actually heard the topic about single people being treated so deeply in the past. That is amazing. I think you have done good justice to that. Good justice, I have to say. Well done. Thank you. The Lord renew your strength in Jesus' name. Thank you very much. Where is Rowena? She's supposed.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I'm right here with you.
Okay. I thought you disappeared. So not you. Yeah, so you go on and invite the next speaker. Rowena.
Okay, so now it is time for our very own Dr. Oluremi Adewale, who I have the pleasure of spending much of my time with. And for those of you who don't know her, and I think, you know, many people already do, but for those who don't, Dr. Oluremi is, she is a, oh my goodness, I have various things under a pile of notes. Yes, here we go. She's a Canadian registered nurse currently working as a mental health nurse consultant within a major municipality in Ontario, in Canada. And she has roles including mental and physical health promotion, consultation, community capacity building, etc., etc. And of course, the way that we all know her is that she is the founder of Women Focused Canada, the organization that is bringing us all of these wonderful webinars and all of these wonderful initiatives. And she's also, I did not realize this, the CEO and president of a non-profit organization, Exclusive Women Healthcare Initiative in Nigeria. So she makes me feel like I am an underachiever, and I'm going to hand over the stage to this amazing woman.
Thank you, Rowena. Of course, you are a great leader, and we are privileged to have you and to have all of the panelists and the moderators today. I want to say good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're watching us from. We want to thank you for joining us today. I strongly believe that the time you have spent with us today has not been wasted. I know for me, it has not been a wasted time. But before I go further, I would like to express my appreciation to the three speakers who have spoken before me, and as well as the two moderators who are doing amazing work in helping and moderating this section. Of course, to you, our audience, we will not be doing this without you. So on behalf of Women Focused Canada, I thank you. At this unprecedented time, many relationships have been tried, strained, and shaken. Truth be told, many people are anxious due to the effects of COVID-19. This anxiety is compounded by facts that families are expected to spend more time together at this time. The COVID-19 pandemic and self-isolation measures have empowered perpetrators of domestic violence in many homes. This is a fact that we are seeing reading different literature. A broken relationship is devastating. Some feel hurt, devastated, and betrayed. People feel devalued when they sense that they are not being listened to in their relationships. This is one of the reasons why Women Focused Canada is currently partnering with the Canadian Red Cross Society to develop and deliver webinars, such as the one we're doing right now, social media live sessions, and individual chats targeting over 1,000 Afro-Caribbeans in Toronto area. Of course, we know that other communities are welcome, and they have been joining us from Canada, United States, UK, Africa, and other parts of the world. We thank you and we appreciate you. This series that we're partnering with the Canadian Red Cross is intended to elevate community awareness,
disseminate information, teach preventative measures, effects, and risk of COVID-19, and of course, to provide information about how to access critical services in Toronto. From this webinar, Reverend Adejumo encourages us to see this unprecedented COVID time as a season to heal and to recover. We were reminded by Mrs. Ogunsina to use the I statement and for us to take responsibility for our own emotions, as well as for us to practice 5 types of intimacy. We heard from Mrs. Osunmakinde that singleness is a journey and is not a destination. She spoke about the importance of us knowing who we are and loving ourselves. We have learned today strategies and step-by-step tools that will help us in our relationships as couples, as singles, and as individuals. We have been reminded of approaches to help us to be a better listener and to be a better communicator. We have learned ways to maximize singlehood and not to rush into any relationship, especially into a marriage commitment. Because we are human, it is inevitable that we interact and communicate with one another. Therefore, conflicts are inevitable in relationships. Today, we were reminded of what couples argue about and ways to achieve resolution through mediation. I would say that feeling listened to is the same thing as feeling valued. No one is permitted to make you feel devalued, and you should not, for any reason, devalue yourself. This webinar is an opportunity for women in Toronto, Canada, and women all around the world to share what has worked for them and to help others to learn from their experience. I want to say that Women Focus Canada is an organization that focuses on women, but we invite men. We actually work with men. We actually want men to support us. Women experience the world differently from men. It is important to have our voices heard and be represented. This is something that is not happening in many parts of the world, and we need more of that. The unknown factors of this pandemic can be stressful. We have heard over and over today from our speakers, but we can intentionally make one of our top priorities to be our relationships, both at home, at work, and in the community. Many women and girls worldwide have been unwavering in their commitment to keep their homes running, even during these unprecedented times. Having said that, it takes two to tango. And we can tell from some of the questions that have been asked today that in many homes, one person is struggling and trying more than the other. So we invite our significant others to join us in this unwavering commitment to make our relationships what it is intended to do. Many women are multitasking at home, in the community, and at work. Many women kept their heads down instead of keeping their heads up, even at the office, to maximize their efforts. Cultural and societal expectations are very high for many women, especially for racialized women. And for this webinar, we're focusing on those in Toronto. Women and girls. Many racialized women are they have minimum support at home. This is the reality. We invite men to support us. A reality which may contribute to the pressure that women are feeling to head home, to spend time with their family, and start their night shift of cooking, laundry, and homework help if your kids are younger. I'm not saying and I'm not preaching that you should not do your responsibility at home. I am asking and saying, please ask for help from your spouse and from your children. Yes, progress has been made in some countries through real actions and determination and commitment from top to advance women. Canada, for example, has the greatest proportion of women among its civil service leaders in the G20 nations, with 48%, followed by Australia with 46.3%. We know that in many other countries worldwide, there is a need to develop a wide range of initiatives to address cultural and behavioral barriers to women advancement. This might include introducing flexible working hours for women to be able to juggle their daily tasks. Fortunately, COVID-19 has presented opportunity for remote work. At the same time, Women Focus Canada has organized a webinar titled Freelancing Remote Work as Alternative Income Source During COVID-19. Thank you, Rowena, for showing that. We have panelists ready to discuss opportunities for remote work during COVID-19. Register for the next Women Focus Canada webinar. It's coming up on Tuesday, September the 22nd, 2020 at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I want to say that many G20 countries have been making progress in augmenting the representations of women in the highest rank of civil service and in management positions. It is an unfortunate truth that there is a huge gap in gender parity in top positions, even in 2020. Women Focus Canada advocate for greater balance and more opportunities for women to be represented at the senior management tables. Mark your calendar for Women Focus Canada Zoom webinar on leadership and professional development on Tuesday, September the 29th, 2020 at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We have lined up experts from various fields to share their journey with you and encourage more women to put their names forward for leadership positions. We invite you to come and learn from their experiences. For this project, we are focusing on Afro-Caribbean in Toronto, Canada. Being an immigrant should not be a barrier for putting your name forward for opportunities. Because if you don't put your name out in the market, how will the buyers see that you are there and that you have the potentials that they need? There is need to promote gender balance on selection panels for senior management position and in candidate polls for political, elected, and ministerial positions in many countries. We don't have the representation of women in those positions. Currently, Leaders in many countries are disproportionately women. In addition, it is equally important to establish mentoring and career development programs for youths and young adults, especially for girls and young women. On September 1st, 2020, Women Focus Canada provided a Zoom webinar platform for 6 young professionals titled Developing Young Professionals During COVID-19. Prepare tomorrow's leader today. These are our leaders tomorrow. The 6 young professionals share their success stories and identify what helped them to overcome their challenges. You can find these videos on our website at www.womenfocuscanada.org. Thank you, Rowena, for showing that. We need men's support in making effective and sustainable gender equality changes that will have impact in future generations. We cannot do it alone as girls and as women. We absolutely want to see the men on our side. We need women to contribute in decision making and to bring up women's diverse concerns and strategies to address those concerns. According to Catherine Blewett, Deputy Clerk of the Private Council, Associate Secretary of the Cabinet, and Canadians' most senior female civil servant, she said, the glass ceiling as far as Canada Federal Public Service is concerned has been shattered. Catherine continues, she said, if there are 0 women at the top, how can we change the culture? Excellent question. Tone from the top matters, she said, and sustained progress is critical, absolutely. Diversity is so important to good governance and good public policy. Of course, those are true. I absolutely 100% agree with Catherine that Canada has made a significant impact in this and in many other areas. However, much more remains in respect to female, Afro, Caribbean, and Black representation in Canada federal public service positions. Yes, and I trust that we have a government in Canada that is looking into Afro-Caribbean and Black, and especially female, who are credible, who are intelligent, and who can do the job. And I have no doubt that this is our time. I will conclude by recognizing that there are societal factors, socially conservative cultures, and tradition views of gender roles that play significant roles in creating leadership and gender imbalance. Without intentional efforts to address these issues, I will say, we will continue to see this gender imbalance in future generations. Leading change in cultural expectations start from your home and in the community. In the view of New Zealand State Service Commissioner Peter Hunch, he said, and I paraphrase, no matter where you are on your journey towards gender parity, you must act now and act on the best available evidence. There is a saying that Rome was not built in a day. Take baby steps and modify and improve as you go. Decision making at all levels affect all aspects of our lives, families and community and nations. The ultimate goal, as defined by by Naomi Ferguson of New Zealand. The ultimate goal, according to her, is for women in government to become so normal that we don't have to talk about it. And I paraphrase, I say, the ultimate goal for this project is for Afro-Caribbean and Black community, and especially women, to be in government. And this should be normal, and we will not have to talk about it. Thank you for being listening to me. I would like to end this by showing 2 clips of Angela Bassad's video. They're very short, and I will invite Rowena to please share the 2 video clips with us.
Hey, Queen, girl, you have done it again. You have made it through another day, despite all the challenges that come your way on a regular basis. And you look good doing it too. Every day these people will try you, but you've managed to stay grounded and remain focused on your goals and the task at hand. In fact, not only are you surviving, you're thriving. You dream it, you work hard, you grind till you own it, you twirl on those haters. There's nothing that you can't do, you won't do, so keep doing you, boo, because you're simply the best. And you don't have to get your groove back because guess what? You never lost it. Don't wait to exhale. Take a deep breath and remember that you are 100% that queen.
Absolutely. I hope you enjoyed that. I loved it and I wanted to share that with you. So with that, I say indeed, it has been a great privilege and honor to have spent the past 2 to 3 hours with you. And I have learned a lot from our panelists.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We appreciate you, and I so appreciate all of our wonderful speakers. Thank you so much.